All right, so where has all the sneaker inventory gone? Every time it seems like you see a review on a cool shoe you want to buy, you look online and it's out of stock. There are a few reasons for that, and there are some ways to kind of get around that, which I'll show you. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up? Zach here. And the reason I'm doing this video is because this is the question I've been getting more than anything, from basketball shoes to tennis shoes, really any sneaker in between. After I do a review on a shoe, I'm getting the same question. Why isn't this shoe in stock? I can't find it anywhere. Is there a problem with that particular company? No, not really. If you look around, we're having massive supply shortages of just about everything right now. But like I said, even with these unprecedented supply chain issues that we're having, there are still ways to get the shoes that you want or at least need, which I'll get to later in the video. But honestly, more importantly, why is there a supply shortage of sneakers right now specifically? Remember, this shortage started back when the world shut down last year, because most shoe manufacturers run a pretty big gap in between production of the shoe and actual sale of the shoe on the shelf. Meaning a shoe is usually ready for sale long before you actually see it on the shelf for purchase. What companies do is typically circulate that shoe between their marketing department, engineering department, athletes or influencers to kind of test the shoe out and see what they like and don't like about it, as well as see what the shoe looks like on people to develop new colorways. That's why you typically see one colorway for the first production line of the shoe, and then just a little bit later, that's when you see the multiple colorway options. That's why recently Adidas has actually been releasing this more digital zebra striped camo colorway. This is what most pre-stock shoes look like, so you can't see too many details about the shoe, and it's harder to leak info. It's just that Adidas has now started using this as kind of a limited edition first run colorway. So what we're seeing now is all these first production colorways were able to be pumped out because they had stock of them prior to the shutdown, or they had enough stock that they were able to kind of get them out with the skeleton crews they were running at the time. And what you're seeing now is the production shortages starting to catch up with all the newer colorways of these shoes. The reason you're noticing it in these relatively smaller companies is because these giant companies can actually move resources around so that they can pump up the production of their more popular shoe lines and just kind of sacrifice other things, versus some of these other smaller companies that just can't do that. The other more immediate problem is the stock of shoes that is out there is stuck in ports around the world because there aren't enough dock workers to unload the ships, and there aren't enough truckers out there to get the actual product to stores. And I'm sure you've noticed it's not just sneakers. There are shortages of everything out there. Just the other day, my wife's hairdresser told her she probably can't get the hair color she wants next time because they're running out of stock. If you go to the grocery store, there's always bare spots on the shelves now. Not to mention, for the tennis players that watch this channel, you can't get tennis balls anymore either. They're jacking the price of those up too. And unfortunately, this looks like it might get worse before it gets better. Because at least here in the United States where I live, we're going through something called the Great Resignation, where mainly in my generation, the millennial generation, people are leaving their jobs in record numbers. So that's only further kind of bottling up all these supply chain shortages and just product shortages in general. But knowing why we're going through this doesn't help if you just need a shoe for whatever sport you're playing. So here are a few tips on how to find a better and bigger selection. Remember, a lot of men's and women's shoes are exactly the same. They're just sized differently. In general, if you're in a men's shoe going to a women's, you're going to size up 1.5 times. So if you're a men's 10, you're now a women's 11.5 and vice versa. Especially in court sneakers, there usually isn't a big difference between men's and women's versions of the shoe. Some women's shoes are a little bit more narrow in the midfoot, so you're going to want to check the shoe out from the bottom when you're looking at it to see if the shoe is a little more narrow, and if it is, you might want to go up 1/2 size more. And some of the women's models just probably won't fit your foot if you're a man, and vice versa if you're a woman, so make sure you check for that. And I've actually done this on this channel. If you look at my New Balance 996 review, that colorway is a women's colorway. I actually couldn't find the men's in my size, so I just sized up to the women's and they fit great. This second tip is how I find the more obscure or hard to find shoes here in the United States, and that's by going to other countries' websites of the shoe. And a lot of times if a shoe is made in a certain country, that country's website of the shoe will actually have much more stock. Like if you're looking for a Lotto shoe, going to lotto.it versus just lotto.com, you might find a bigger stock. Or when I was reviewing Joma shoes, I actually went to their Spanish website and was able to find them. The problem with that is you are going to pay a little bit more in shipping, obviously, because you might be now shipping internationally. However, the good part is you're not dealing with cargo ships and ports. Those are coming on truck or plane. And after I say my third tip, you might be thinking, yeah, all right, Sherlock. However, there are some powerful strategies that you can use with this to really find the shoe that you want. And that's using websites like Poshmark or eBay or other resale websites. However, the real key to this is using keywords appropriately. Because remember, a lot of people that are selling stuff on there really don't know what they have or don't know the exact names of the shoes. They're just trying to put something up on there and get money. And so oftentimes you have to do is number one, start really specific, like Nike Foamposite Vapor 10 limited edition or unreleased shoe. And keywords like that might work for shoes like this because a lot of sneakerheads bought this shoe at Boss Cost and other discount stores just for the purpose of reselling them. However, for some other more obscure shoes, you might have to go more generic. Like this shoe, the Reebok Fig Jam, I bought this shoe putting in Reebok shoe, because the person that had it simply just didn't know what the name of the shoe was. So remember, when you're looking for a shoe, start specific, and then if you can't find anything, go more generic and just be ready to start scrolling. And most importantly with this third tip, make sure you're watching out for when pros are using new colorways of a shoe, because once the season's changed, a lot of the smaller stores will try to dump all their inventory of the old colorways on these secondhand sites, and you can pick up the old colorway for much cheaper, even though it was the new colorway 10 minutes ago. And also, this might be a great opportunity to find a new brand of shoes you like or a new line of shoes you like. I just know recently I was looking for sandals because I didn't have any, didn't think I would ever wear a Croc in my life. That was the only thing that was available, and now I'm a huge fan of them. But the biggest pitfall to all these shoe buying hacks I've laid out is finding the right size and shape shoe that matches your foot, because a lot of times you're buying them from other parts of the world, and you don't want to have to send them back. So if you want to find the best way to match the shape and size of your foot to the shoe, make sure you click into this video up above and subscribe down below. Respect your rubber and foam and delivery drivers. We'll see you in the next video.